Hey, welcome to the very first episode of Sixx Daze. I'm your host, Bob Sixx. Today, I'm going to be discussing genders. In the future, I will discuss some topics I feel like discussing, viewer suggestions, and I do plan on having some guests. But to start, we're going to do it like this. I'm going to address a few things that we discuss in my live streams on my Sixx Daze YouTube channel and see how this goes, kind of fill out what people really want to hear. So, in the case of genders, the bottom line is, no matter what you think or feel, there's only two genders, male and female. But there's a whole bunch of variables that go into that fact. I've heard people say that, people that are transgender have mental issues and they're confused. I know plenty of transgenders, and I feel that that's not the case. And let me explain why. This also covers homosexuals or homosexuality. For me, sex is one of the last things assigned to a human fetus. That's why men have nipples. There is literally no reason for us to have them. We don't lactate, but it's that late in the development. Also, we have cases of hermaphrodites. They're born with both sets of genitals, usually both functioning. And that happens not just with humans, it happens in plants, other things. So, since that can happen, that's a fact, it's not something I'm making up, as you can see right here. Or right here, it happens. So if that can happen, if a human being can be born with both sets, couldn't there be a female, all internally feels like a female, is wired to be female, be born in a male body, and vice versa? Look how many people you know. How many guys who are not gay have very feminine traits to them? They look like females. They sound like females. Some of them act like females, and vice versa. Females that are not gay, but are more manly, have more, like a deeper voice and all that stuff. So see, there's a lot of that goes on. So I honestly believe that a female can be trapped inside of a male's body, and vice versa, a male can be trapped inside of a female's body. A lot of people I know, when they talk to me about this, they feel it's a choice. The only choice that I believe transgenders make is to live the life that they truly are and be attacked and ridiculed and beat, all sorts of stuff that happens to them, or they can continue a miserable existence of being someone that they are not, just so that the world's happy and accepts them. So see, that's a big choice, in my opinion. Now, I do want to say, there are some people who do make choices to live certain lifestyles, and I feel that creates problems for the people who are genuinely that way, be it gay or transgender. Gay also, to me, is not a choice, because it's not natural for a man to look at another man and be attracted as a normal man or a straight man is for a female, and vice versa with the females. So I don't feel that that's a choice. And before anybody says it, because a lot of times in these conversations, people will say, but the Bible says, God says a man shall not lay with another man. Well, that tells us two things. Number one is that homosexuality was going on way back then. So it's not just that it's in mainstream media and everybody's making a choice to be that way. No, it was happening. It's in the Bible. Why would they mention it in the Bible if you're going to go that route? Also, I believe by saying a man shall not lay with another man, I believe it's more in the penitentiary sense, where straight men are doing things to straight men. That's what I believe. Makes sense that a man would not lay with another man, or that God would tell you not to do that. But then again, he shouldn't have to tell you that. If it's not natural and if it's a choice, So there's so many things that go on. As I said, there's a lot of variables. And excuse my voice, it's very humid today. I mean, I don't want to sit here and keep guzzling water, but so that's where there's nothing wrong with your camera or the video. So since it was discussed back then, we know it's been around at least since biblical times. And remember that the Bible was written, 2,000 years after Christ existed? So it's been around for a while. Another issue I have is, and I will tell you, I do have an issue with a transgender scenario. I feel if you are transgender and you're going to live as a woman, and you tell me this is how I identify and this is how I want to be addressed, I'll address you as such. I will pretty much call anyone whatever they want to be called. Little Slim Dizzy Whizzle, Robotron, whatever, as long as you don't come at me like an asshole. Because if you look like a male and I address you as a male, don't yell at me, just say, I would appreciate it, or this is how. There's no reason to be rude, but you got those people, like the Karens and Kens of the world that just blow up over everything. You've seen the videos. They're all over the internet because people like to put that out there. There's a certain way to handle things. So for you to come at somebody all rude and then expect them to respect you, that's just not the way that works. So I think if you said normally, hey, I would appreciate it, I think most people would. That being said, if you tell me to address you as a male or female, and I do, that doesn't make you that. To tell me I'm a man when you are not, or like that one video, I'm a man. Clearly I'm a man. No, clearly you are genetically a male. I understand he was upset, but that whole big scene, and then he wants to say, come outside and I'll kick your ass. That's going to an extreme, and I don't think that helps matters, because people see that just like any other thing. When they see someone going to an extreme, then they start assuming everybody is that way, and it causes a bigger problem. So I think as human beings, if someone tells you, this is how I identify, and I want you to address me as such, you should respect them and do that. Again, I have to stress, that does not make you whatever you're asking me to address you as. If you ask me to call you a Camaro, I will. That doesn't make you a Camaro. And I'm not trying to be silly. There will be some episodes where I make little jokes and stuff, but in something like this that I feel is a very serious issue, and I think a lot of people are going at it the wrong way, trying to force people to do things. I mean, there's always going to be people that will not address you the way you want to be addressed. You just have to accept that. It is what it is. It's like when anyone else uses any other derogatory term towards someone, that doesn't make them that. I get called asshole all the time. Doesn't even faze me. But most people call me that because I'm brutally honest. And I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm not trying to upset you. I'm being honest with you. I feel that's more respectful than somebody that goes, oh, here, let me make this person happy or avoid this conversation. If I'm trying to avoid a conversation, I just won't talk to you. I'll let you know. I'm not doing this. I'm walking off. It's not that I don't have an opinion. I have opinion on almost everything. Before I go off on a different rabbit hole. One more thing I want to say about hermaphrodites. There are rare cases, and this is important, and that goes along with what I was saying earlier, where babies need emergency surgeries. For example, a health reason if they're unable to urinate properly. But the vast majority of cases, and it's right here, are due to prevent the child from suffering presumed psychological distress later in life, experts said. I could see we're having both sets. Even if you were never exposed to another human being and they never found out, that could be stressful enough. But once that child starts growing up and is attending school and other people find out, that existence would have to be horrible. Because they would be just picked on mercilessly. And for some reason, a lot of people seem to think it's okay to hurt people that are different. Oh, they don't have feelings, or whatever the case, for something they can't help, as in this case. That's ridiculous. That brings me to another point. Why is it you're not allowed to body shame people or insult people's intelligence or race or anything like that, but it seems to be okay to attack transgenders and gays or any member of that community? They're still human beings. They still have feelings. So if you're not allowed to make fun of somebody who's overweight for whatever reason, be it an actual physical problem or that they're overeat or whatever the case, you're not allowed to make fun of them or pick on them or someone that's a little slow. I mean, we're not allowed to say the R word. I find that ironic. We're not allowed to say the R word, but you can say imbecile, moron. Those are lower on the scale, on the intelligence scale, than the R word we're not allowed to say. The R word is less, to me, less offensive. But we're not allowed to do any of that. But it seems to be that people being green lighted, oh, do whatever you want to these people. That's not right. So again, I feel that mutual respect here comes into play. Regardless of what you think. For example, religion, that's a choice. You were brought up that way and you have the choice of either continuing to live that way or changing your religion. You can change your religion. You can change your job, your hair color. You can change anything you want that has to do with that. Those are all choices. Being born transgender, in my opinion, is not a choice. I mean, how would you feel? How would you feel if you were wrongly incarcerated? If the cops just grabbed you and said, "We know it was you," and they threw you in prison. I believe that's how most transgender people feel when they're living the way society dictates they should live. I feel that they feel, I've talked to some, I'm not mentioning no names or anything like that. I have a lot of friends that are transgender. I have even more friends that are gay. And I do have these discussions with my friends. So I can't speak for everybody. So it's a limited amount when you look at the grand scheme of it. So that's why I'm speaking the way I am instead of saying it's a fact, as a lot of people do, and they don't know themselves. Oh, something I should point out when I talk, if you don't watch my live streams, when I pause a lot, it's because I'm trying not to drop F-bombs. I have a very foul mouth, and I'm trying to make sure this goes out on a lot of formats, so I'm working really hard. So a lot of the pauses are catching myself from not saying that. So here's one issue I do have with transgender, and I think this one is them being treated just like everybody else, that's very important. The issue I have, well, there's actually two. For one, the young guys, even though you know, if you are truly that way, I don't feel that junior high students and high school students should be just come to school and they go, "Oh, I'm a female." And you parents that are raising your kids because it's the in thing right now to be the opposite sex, shame on you. That's child abuse. Your child should be taken away from you. CPS should come take your child away from you. That is wrong. My son's gay. When he told me he was gay and he knew he was gay, 100%, that was it. We never put that into him, that thought into his head. It was never discussed until he was ready to come out and tell us. Regardless of what we thought, until he was ready to tell us. That's how that works. You don't tell your kid, oh, don't you want to do this? Come on. That's wrong. And sexual reassignment to a minor, no. Except for in the case of a hermaphrodite. There's medical reasons for that and definite psychological reasons. So I get that. But for you to convince your child that and then do that to them, especially if they're not that way, they're just trying to make mommy and daddy happy, CPS should be taking your child away from you. And I stand firm on that. And you can hate on me all you want for that one. But I feel there should be, so the limitations on it, but there should be a third class for athletics. You little punk ass guys who suck competing against other guys that decide you're going to be a female and all of a sudden you're number one in the world. Wrong. That's wrong. Period. That's not my opinion. That's wrong. So to fix that, we should have a third class where transgenders are in their class all their own. We have male and female classes because, not my opinion, it's a fact that males are physically stronger than females. And that does not mean all. I know some badass females. But pound for pound, males are stronger. That's why we have them separate in different classes. So I feel if you want to be transgender, okay, but you're going to compete against other transgenders. So other guys who couldn't cut it, competing against other guys and decide they're going to be females, well, they're going to compete against other guys who decided to be female. I also feel there should be a long psychological process. When I was a kid, I saw a documentary on people that had sex changes. And it was actually a long process. You didn't just go up to the doctor and go, hey, I want to be a female. And next week you were a female. That's not how it worked. I don't know how they're doing it now. But as far as competing in sports, we should have a third class. Because like I said, we should respect everyone. So if you truly feel that you're a female, okay. But you're going to compete against other physical men who believe that they are female. Because I see a lot of shit going on that I do not. It's not fair. That swimmer, that's not fair. That's wrong. Look what his ranking was when he was competing against men. And then he says he's a woman. So I don't think that's right. As far as bathrooms go, most of the transgenders I know, you really couldn't tell. You could probably figure out that they were males. They're not in there looking at chicks. But I do understand, women. I do understand women not wanting a guy in there. So that unisex bathroom stuff, that's a no-go. That's not cool at all. Especially since you put women who do not want to be in that situation into that situation. Especially when it's just some little teenage or college boy who can't cut it, but now he's going to act like a female. I don't agree with that at all. Once you go through all the psychological tests and prove that you are indeed a female in a male's body, I don't think you should have access to any of that. That's the bottom line. So, I'm not a big Piers Morgan fan, but I did watch an interview that he did, and to see someone, he said something, he had a very valid point. This woman said the most moronic thing she could have said. She was saying it's okay for guys to do that. So Pierce asked, so if Floyd Mayweather arguably the most dangerous boxer ever to compete in the sport, decided he wanted to be a female and compete against females, you would be okay with that? And you could see the dilemma she was faced with on her face as she forced herself to say yes, even though she knows that is not true. That would not be a good idea. That is insane for her to say that. That's like saying the Powder Puff Football League, or whatever they call it now. I'm sorry, I don't know the name. That football league where they wear the bikinis and stuff, the females. They're competitors, and they get out there and they kick ass against each other. Put them against an NFL team, that would not even be fair. So to say that if all those NFL guys decide they're going to be female and come compete in that sport, wrong. What the hell's wrong with you? So many people are trapped in their bullshit that they have to say moronic stuff like that. Oh yeah, it'd be okay. And then they're driving home, they're going, oh my God, I hope they don't do that. I can't believe I said that. That was so stupid. It is stupid. So if that's going to be the case where we're going to have people that just decide that they weren't born that way, that they have not spent their entire life dealing with that, they just suddenly decide, well, I suck at men's sport. I'm going to compete in females. I'm just going to say I'm a woman. I can live with that. Okay, then you get to compete in the transgender league. You don't get to compete against females. Oh, look, you still suck. Aw. But that's how you make it fair. And I know life isn't always fair, as in this case. People are being abused because of who they are. I am, like I said in the very beginning, I have no problem. I will call you whatever you want me to call you, but that does not make you that. Just because you drive a car doesn't make you a race car driver. And there's a whole host of things I could say, and I'm not trying to dumb this down or make light of it or make a joke of it. I'm saying just because you tell me you're a man does not make you a man. If you tell me you live as one and you want me to address you as one, I will. That's mutual respect for our fellow human beings. You want me to call you that? I will. If you live as a female, I will call you a female. I will call you what you want me to call you, and I will address you as such. Will I ever slip up? Absolutely. I do with all of my transgender friends. I don't do it on purpose. I try as hard as I can to respect their wishes. You know, it's not that hard to respect each other. So, I honestly feel that's the only way through this is a mutual respect. We do have to have boundaries. We do set boundaries. No, you may not use it. And if it has to come to it, a third bathroom. And the reason I'm closing on the bathroom is because I see this post go around all the social medias and it's not taken down. I've had posts where I've said something that I didn't think that was that bad, but it was taken down. Yet these posts go all around saying, and I'm going to paraphrase because I can't remember exactly, if I see some dude who identifies as a woman go in a bathroom, I'm going to identify as a dentist and knock his teeth out. First off, how's that allowed to go around? Second off, in literally almost all cases, because with everything, and I always say almost because there are exceptions to every rule. Like the little teenage boy that decides he wants to be a female so that he has access to female facilities or to compete in female sports or whatever the case. There's that problem. But full-on people, as in grown men who truly have grown up believing that they are a woman trapped in a woman's body, knowing that they are, lives their life as a woman. They are not in there looking at your little girl. The person you really need to be suspicious of is your brother or cousin or uncle or neighbor that's constantly wanting to take your kids somewhere fun and they don't want to go. Who doesn't want to go to Six Flags? A free trip to Six Flags, but your kids are being... That's the red flags. That's who you need to be looking at. Because statistically, the majority of pedos are grown-ass white males. Again, exceptions to every rule, so there are others. But the majority of them don't live like females. So regardless of your person, even if you don't like them, you don't have to accept them. I tell people that all the time as far as race, religion, politics, whatever. You don't have to accept or like any of that. But that doesn't give you the right to disrespect people or harm them. Now, pedos, absolutely. I'm all for the death penalty, which I will be discussing the death penalty in an upcoming episode. Tends to upset some people. So does this. But anyways, so just because they're different and it's not your beliefs doesn't give you the right to harm them, to abuse them verbally, to falsely accuse them of shit. That's wrong. You wouldn't want anyone doing any of that to you. How would you like to be wrongly accused of something, especially to the degree that some of you do? You wouldn't. And they don't like it either. So again, it may not be your cup of tea. Nobody's forcing you to do it. We need to mutually respect each other. We do need to have some boundaries. Like I said, if third bathroom's an option that we need to apply, then we can do that. What's it going to hurt? They already have family bathrooms so that people can do family, the things that you have to do as a family for your children without people staring at you. So if we can do that, we could do another bathroom. It wouldn't hurt anything. So there's ways around all of this. But the bottom line is we have to mutually respect each other, and we have to understand that people are different. Not everybody's the same. And just because you don't agree with it, or you don't think that, or you don't feel that, does not mean that they're wrong or that they're mentally unstable. Not one of the transgender people I know I'm mentally unstable. I have multiple personality disorders. It's something else we'll discuss. But they're normal people. They are human beings. They just got put in the wrong body. Hermaphrodites prove that both genders can be in one body. They have both. And again, I cannot stress the fact that there are only two genders. Regardless of what you think, how you feel, and how you want to be addressed, there are only two, male and female, period. Do I believe a male can be born in a female's body? Absolutely. And vice versa? Absolutely, 100%. So, just because it's different doesn't give you the right to abuse them. Again, you don't have to like it. You wouldn't want to be beat up because you believe in God, or you're a Republican, or you drink Bud Light. Any stupid shit like that, you don't want to be beat up for that, or abused, or verbally abused. Yet, for some reason, society has deemed it's okay for that. There's so much negative stuff going on in the world today. How about if we get rid of some of it? Like being decent human beings. It's not that hard. Especially if I can do it. My natural instinct's not to be nice. But I don't know how this went. I was going to write out a script, but I don't like doing scripts. I know how I feel, and I feel it's better for me to speak from my heart, be 100% honest, because if I did a bunch of research and had a bunch of notes up here, don't get me wrong. I know what I know. I do watch a lot of stuff, read a lot of stuff, do a lot of research. Anyways, so I pulled up these two things for this. But other than that, I want to speak from my heart, because when I feel when you do that, that's the genuine truth. So again, in closing, you do not have to accept it. You don't have to like it. Nobody's trying to make you be it. But we're all human beings. So regardless of how you feel about them as an individual or their life choices, it's not up to you. They're not living your life. They're not living for you, just like you're not doing the other. Just mutual respect, man. There's people out there that do warrant that kind of hate. I'm not going to keep mentioning them, but the people who watch my live streams know, I ain't supposed to talk about that anymore. But there's 3 types of people that great candidates for the death penalty. Which, when I do my death penalty one, make sure you watch that. So please leave comments. Let me know. Did you like this? Do you want me to keep picking topics for a while, or make some suggestions? If you make suggestions, want to know, I'll be more than happy to address those. But I want some feedback. Let me know if you liked it, if you liked the way I did it, if you want me to sound like I'm reading, whatever, I will. And if you ask me something that I don't know a lot about, I will do research up on it so that I do have a more informed opinion. Like I said, I know transgenders, I know gays. So I have opinions of that. I have some insight on it. So again, my closing is getting all muddled. Give me some feedback. Let me know if you like this, what you want, and I will be more than happy to navigate through that. Those of you that are still here, I truly appreciate that you took the time to listen to this. I hope you have a great day. Make someone laugh, get the chance. Don't forget to tell your friends and family each and every time you leave that you love them, because you just never know when that's going to be the last chance you get to tell them. Be safe, people. We're living in some crazy times. Until next time, this is Sixx Daze, and I am Bob Sixx. Peace.